Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the map. It is Metropolis. In the 12 o'clock position from Team StarTale, it is Squirtle. He is facing off against FXO's Final Hope here in the bottom left. In the red, it is Leenock, one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, Leenock, very spectacular player, but and a very good Team League player, too. I don't want to take that away from him. He's performed really well in GSTL. But he does tend to have a little more experience at a big, long weekend tournament or something like the GSL than he does in these short formats. So, as he didn't, perform, I would imagine, up to his standards in Fight Club this week.
Yeah, a lot of times Leenock can lose game number one, and, it's then he adapts and realizes, okay, this is what I need to be doing instead. But, for instance, round one of IPL 5 lost to Apocalypse in his first game. And, it's these situations where Leenock can struggle a bit, and now, it's a best of one to decide this between Squirtle and Leenock.
Yeah, I actually casted those games between Leenock and Apocalypse, and was very interesting to watch. I mean, Apocalypse came out roaring. He, as we mentioned, during that cast, that Apocalypse sometimes is a bit aggressive to a fault, whereas Leenock is a little more calculated in how aggressive he is, knows when to kind of flip on the kill switch. In this case, though, we'll see what he does against Squirtle, as Squirtle, I believe, yeah, he built his pylon inside of his main. More and more players have been doing that, as there's not really a lot of pressure that comes out of Zerg at the beginning of games anymore. You can safely do that, take a Nexus first. Forge gets built inside of your, and behind your mineral line, so that you can come back with hidden upgrades. You're just denying more information from your opponent.
This map and Ohana are very, very good for an in-base Forge. You take a look at the very top of Squirtle's main base. There is no room for an Overlord to slip in here without a Stalker being able to shoot it, whether to the left or to the right. And so it makes it that much more difficult for Leenock to get the information necessary to determine what builds his opponent is going for.
Nothing weird coming out of Leenock so far. 4 Lings and a Queen on the way. Afterwards, of course, in about 30 seconds, he'll start heading a drone down towards that third base. But otherwise, we're actually setting up for a pretty normal PvZ. If you guys remember the first PvZ that Squirtle played against Lucky, he ended up going for a gas and gateway first into a big 5-gate follow-up. Yeah,
really showing his diversity here and not going for the same build multiple times. Now, Leenock, of course, didn't open with any sort of an early pull, because if he had gone for that gate first, it would have been a problem. And, maybe that's why we see Squirtle in this situation go for that Nexus first. And here it is. Gateway going to get the block for Squirtle, so those Lings have no chance at all of getting inside.
And you can see Leenock's already running away. He knows that he's not going to be able to make it in there. I mean, that cost 37 minerals of damage there in the gateway being canceled, but that's pretty inconsequential at this stage of the game. Cybernetic Score coming back up now to full wall this off. And I've enjoyed this this map from the perspective of Protoss players, because it kind of forces you into, I mean, don't get me wrong, pretty much any map that has that natural to third that's separated by destructible debris is good for an Immortal Sentry all-in if players don't decide to knock that down very quickly. But in this specific circumstance, I really like this map for Protoss players because of how easy it is to be able to wall that off completely up at the front.
Yep.
And it offers you the flexibility to take a very quick third base.
Interestingly, though, Squirtle put the pylon on the left and not on the right. This does make it more difficult to put structures behind that if he is facing something like a Baneling Bus all-in. And actually, the ramp is a little bit a little wider than I thought, so that's actually it's really not much of a difference. But Link's camping out front right now for Leenock, and that cannon is set far enough back that it's going to be able to protect that probe. And the Stargate play here from Squirtle is, well, we'll see what kind of a damage he's going to be able to get done to Leenock, who at this point has yet to drop an Evo or take any gases.
Yeah, but
got quite a few queens. Or is that okay? That's just his third one spawning.
How much supply is he going to go up to? Because already 47 and no gas so far. Usually it's about the 42 supply mark. So he does it about 5 supply later. Now, that does significantly set back some of his tech by about 15 or 20 seconds. That's actually a big deal if you think about it in terms of trying to hit timings.
Yeah.
But that's going to give him a very nice economic advantage and a really great boost in mineral income.
Okay, a Void Ray here from Squirtle, so definitely going to be able to hold off, if Leenock goes for any aggression. Leenock just poked in with his Overlord up in the top right. Can we see what it managed to get a glimpse of? All right, so he saw the gas timing. He actually saw the timing of it in the top right as it was constructing. And, Well, that gives them how long's it been done? Just about 30 seconds, and may have poked in far enough to get a glimpse at the other one mining gas. But either way, he knows that his opponent isn't still sitting on 2 gases right now, which, you know, the timing of that gas may tell him that Stargate's a definite possibility, but I don't see an Evo chamber quite yet.
All right, well, I'll be curious as to what Squirtle's plans are here in a second. He's adding on a couple of additional gateways, so he's going to be on 4 gate with double Void Ray. That's a very stout, yeah, I mean, this is a heavy investment into airplay. Usually you just see those cheaper Phoenixes being constructed a little bit, get out there, try and deny a little bit, but it's a full 100 minerals and 100 gas, or 100 minerals and 50 gas more for each Void Ray, so, you know, a lot of resources being put into this. We'll see what Squirtle hopes to get done.
All right, Warp Gate's done. The 3 gateways are nearing completion. A Robo's going to be following this up, as well as +1. Void Ray's coming in now, and Leenock is going to need to fall. Oh, that Queen's going to be able to lift that so easily. Immediately, we've got Spore Crawlers going down. 6 of them, in fact. On seeing those Void Rays, 7 Spore Crawlers going down for Leenock right now. Yeah. He is making sure not to underreact to this, and in fact, he's going to throw down the quick Hydra Den as well.
That actually makes perfect sense, because you can cancel a couple of these on the way out, but 2 charged Void Rays could have killed a couple of Spore Crawlers before they were able to get done. Another thing he can do is he can finish them all here and then start running them across the map, because he's got pretty good creep spread right now between his bases. Looks like those Void Rays are actually going to get away without dying. Few kills apiece. He ended up finishing 5 of them in total, and he can start to run those down the map if he wants.
All right, Infestation Pit behind this as well. Leenock going to have a lot of tech options available to him. And he looks pretty well covered and defended back at home. Squirtle doesn't look like he's going to be going for that 3rd base. We've got the Twilight Council, you know, which is trademark. Okay, yeah. So he is going to be taking that 3rd just now, and we'll chase off this Overlord as well.
All right, where are the Void Rays? Do they run all the way back home? I'm actually not sure. Are they watching the Xel'Nagas? Okay, they're actually watching the Xel'Naga towers. The less hurt Void Ray is going to swing back in. There's only 1 Spore Crawler here, so these Phoenixes are going to be able to get in and pick off a couple of workers pretty easily. Now we have a Queen up there. It doesn't look like he wants to go after that quite yet, though.
Phoenix doing what they can to get some damage in, doing a pretty good job of it. Hydra's out in front. Those can easily be lifted, but he's going to fall back. Enough energy. Okay, only enough for 2 lifts at this time. And well, actually, Leenock's such a boss. He actually target fires the one with over 100 energy.
Yeah, very cool stuff there. And, you know, Squirtle can follow this up, though. This is pretty predictable. I mean, this used to be kind of the way that PvZ went for a while. I make a Stargate, you make a Hydralisk Den, then I follow up with a quick Robotics Bay to make Colossi and counter that out. Then you put up a Spire and go into Corruptors. And then eventually we find ourselves somewhere along Tier 3 tech.
Well, these Phoenix are creating an interesting dynamic here, because Leenock is now, he's getting a Spire, but he's not getting his Hive. They make a Mutalisk transition much more difficult, of course, which, well, this Void Ray, oh goodness. Squirtle's doing such a good job of this, but the Hydras are in position here for Leenock, and he's going to be able to chase these off. The Phoenix try to come in for a little bit of poke in the main base, not able to do it. I'm really anxious. What does Leenock know right now about Squirtle? He knows that he's got a 3rd base. I don't think he knows that he's going for Colossus.
No, I don't either. Let's go ahead and take a look at his vision, though. He doesn't know anything inside of the main whatsoever. Not a lot there to tell, necessarily. He doesn't see anything inside of the natural, and he obviously poked in with that 3rd base, or towards that 3rd base just a while ago. Very nice creative wall there to make sure all the units are funneled towards the left-hand side. Yeah,
I like that a lot, too. Picking up these Hydras is going to get them. Fungal Growth goes down on the Phoenix, and another one gets lifted. You really want to fungal those, keep them in position. Now he's out of range.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, is that, you know, yes, the Phoenixes are going to die. The Void Ray ends up dying. Another Void Ray actually trying to re-deny this hatchery down at the bottom right. But multiple Infestors and 5 Hydralisks were just killed there. So that's... And at this stage of the game, the Squirtle doesn't care as much about those Stargate units. He still would like to have them around. They're nice to get out there and scout, poke around, do some damage, things like that. But he really, really, really wanted to kill those Infestors and that Hydra.
That was a little bit sloppy, though. Squirtle sacking a Void Ray there and literally getting nothing to show for it.
10 Mutalisks being produced right now. Leenock investing heavily into Mutaplay. No Corruptors coming out. He is going to play the late game, annoy the crap out of your Protoss player kind of game.
He is going for that attack, so it's going to be a lot of poking in, picking off drones and things like that, or probes. Behind this is making quite a few drones. Baneling Nest going down as well here, which is a very interesting thing to be throwing down at the 14-minute mark.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty patented Leanox stuff. I'm very aggressive into Tier 2 tech while you go up to into Hive. You've got those Infestors. You've got pretty much everything you need. I don't think we have a Templar Archives. Oh, no, we do have a Templar Archives, but no Archons created yet for Squirtle, but he's going to certainly need those, and he's going to need a lot of Blink Stalkers soon.
It's actually huge that he already has that completed, though. It's so much less time that he's going to need to wait in order to be able to counter these Mutalisks more effectively. Now, Leanox also could have tried to throw that down in order to try to force a response here out of Squirtle, but Stalker's catching a few units here, and the cannon, oh, Leanox taking so much damage right now.
And if you guys are wondering why Squirtle would move Colossi back into the mineral line there, it's not because obviously Colossi are going to do anything against those. They can't shoot up, but what it can do is absorb Glade Worm shots, and that's what he wants. He wants to retain his pros for as long as possible, so he wants more units back there so they can soak up those shots.
Yeah, it's a great thing to point out, Kev, you know, the defensive capabilities that are always a lot of creative options open versus Mutas. Stalker's blinking forward right now. These Lings are 100% trapped.
This is kind of a... I don't really like exactly what Leanox's game plan was here. If he had just gone straight, okay, well, it's time for Mutas. We're going to gun it for Mutas. We're going to do Muta, 4 base, 5 base Muta, and we're just going to keep our opponent pinned in on 3 bases. That's one thing. That's certainly a style of play that still comes up and still works. But only making 10 Mutas, he wasn't able to get a lot of damage done with those. His opponent continued to amass this enormous army, and Leanox was trying to go for Tier 3 tech. Look at all the stuff he's investing into, but at that exact moment needs to put up a ton of Zerglings.
Yeah, this just didn't work out. It was a cool idea, though. I think using the Mutas kind of as spine crawlers as a way to delay while you work up to Hive Tech. Now the Ling run by is going to try to do the same thing. And actually, I mean, it does make a lot of sense to attempt to go for it, but Squirrel already had Blink. He already had Twilight Council on the field, in fact. So, I mean, really, he didn't manage to contain long enough. And now Squirtle's pushing out across the map, and Leanox has almost nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Leanox, he's got a few spine crawlers back here to defend, but these Stalkers can actually blink on top of them here in a second. There's a good bit of energy left on those Infestors. They will be able to pin units down for a while. The Photon Cannons are in just a great position, and the Zerglings are all going to die here in just a second.
And the army of Squirtle is in the natural now, getting quite a lot of damage in. 8 Ultralisks are getting ready to spawn here, 24 Banelings as well. The sentry count with this army is very low.
Yeah, that's a jackpot of Overlords, actually. he could actually go after that, and that actually wouldn't be that bad of a decision for him. Banelings are going to roll in. They don't connect with all that much. The Ultralisks are actually dying very quickly. The Colossi and Stalkers proving to be just too much for them. The Banelings, look at that being blinked away from, so all of the unhurt Stalkers are actually taking the damage. Incredible control from Squirtle. There's GG. Squirtle has just 4 killed FXO. He brings them back from a 4-1 to take the set in the 9th game.
Everything about that was beautiful from Squirtle. Leanox trying some cool strategies. I like the idea that he's going for here. I would love to see more of it in the future. Instead of building a billion spine crawlers, how about I make Mutas and do the exact same thing, you know?
Yeah.
Stop the possibility of a push, but instead I can get in some damage. I can also maybe force you to go for Templar, where you don't necessarily quite, you know, you don't have the money or whatever. You have to cut something for it. It's a cool idea, but it didn't work out for him there.
No, unfortunately not, and that is going to be our cast for the night. Tomorrow and Friday we have Contender Division action. Then we are actually going to be off for a while. We'll be showing Hyun's exploits in Fight Club, along with some of our selected best games from IPL 5 and the like over that week. So hope you guys will stick around for us over the next couple of days. Follow the IGN Pro League on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube is at IGN Pro League. If you're watching on twitch.tv/IGN Pro League right now, click on that follow button. Lets you know when we're going live and really does help us out. But I think that's going to be it for us, man. Have a great day.